Hi there, Chevrolet owners. Today in your 1989 CK Series pickup truck, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Access's original SLANTBACK roll-up tonneau cover. Tonneau cover is a great way to keep things in your truck bed concealed. This is going to keep them dry because it protects them from the elements, and it also helps prevent theft by keeping it out of sight. And it also helps make your truck look nice. It has a vinyl cover on top that's UV resistant to help ensure that its color stays nice and black for the life of the cover. When you're ready to use your cover, there are release handles on each side that you can pull down. There's just like a string. And when we pull that, we can then pop up the cover and then just roll it up. There are cross beams that run across our vinyl cover to give it support. And this is nice if you're loading up the back. You can set some small items on top of the cover. You don't want to put anything excessively heavy on it, but a little bit of groceries or something would be nice. Once we have it all the way rolled up, we do have straps that come pre-installed on it, and it'll just wrap around and click into the other side. We can do that over on that side as well, and this will keep our cover rolled up for us as we're going down the road. So what this means is we can get full truck bed access with this cover and also be able to easily see out of our rear window since it rolls up into such a small package. And when you're ready to close it up, you just simply unroll it, and the rear bar here will fit into the plastic latches at the back, and you simply just fold it down into place. The thing I did want to mention is that when you first get your cover, it is going to be very taut, and it's going to be a little difficult to snap into place. There are adjusters at the front, but you want it to be taut because this is going to stretch a little bit over time. You can then close your tailgate, and that'll seal it up completely inside. And walk down the side and hook your hook and loop fasteners into place. This is a pretty easy and fairly straightforward cover to install, especially since Access has provided custom mounting hardware for our '89 Chevy here. So why don't you follow along with me, and we're going to go ahead and get it mounted up. We'll begin our installation on the inside of our truck bed side rails. We're going to remove some of the Torx bolts that run down the side, because that's what we'll be using to clamp our tonneau cover side rails to. We're going to remove the frontmost bolt, the fourth from the front, and the very last using a T40 Torx socket. Once you've got those all removed, we can take the long black bolts that come in our kit. We're going to put a flat washer on them, slide it through our clamp to where we've got the threaded side on the same side as the teeth. And this is just going to then get a spacer, and then it's going to thread into the holes that we just removed those hardware. We're only going to put it in there just a few turns just to hold it in place because we do need it to be loose to be able to slide our side rails on. So we're going to repeat this for the 2 remaining bolts on this side, and then the 3 over on the other side. Now we can put our side rails in place. You want to make sure you've got the plastic striker here faced towards the rear of the vehicle, and our foam seal here is going to go in between our side rails on our truck and the brackets that we just installed. We'll then want to make sure we've got our side rail slid all the way to the front and that it's flush with the top of our side rails. And we can then bring our clamp up, making sure that the teeth line up in the grooves, and tighten it down using a 13mm socket. We're going to repeat that for each of our clamps on this side, and then do the same process over on the other side. Next, we'll install the bulkhead seal at the front of our truck's box, just behind the cab. We'll use the included alcohol pad to clean the top surface to ensure we have good adhesion. You'll want to save this alcohol swab because we're going to need it in the rear for applying seals back there as well. Now that we've got it all cleaned off, we'll take our bulkhead seal and we're going to peel off the adhesive backing. And then we're just going to work the seal down back across the bulkhead ensuring that the raised side faces towards the inside of our box. We also want to make sure that we go the entire length from rail to rail. Once you get to the far end, if you have excess, you'll just want to trim that off with a razor knife. We'll now install the seals at the rear of our rails. These are small little pre-cut sections that have some adhesive on them. They're going to stick on the bottom side of our rail, but we'll want to hold it here in the bed of the truck against the inside, checking outward. And then we'll need to trim the little section of adhesive out here, so that way we just have the section that holds it under the rail there. So we'll just hold it up, see where we need to trim, and then we'll just make our cut, and then we'll just cut this whole section out. Now that we've verified it's going to fit properly there, we'll take that alcohol pad that we were using at the front, we're just going to wipe off the bottom, peel off the adhesive backing, then we'll just stick this in place underneath, and then repeat the same process over on the other side. There is a small nut located in our tonneau cover. This is the rail that will go all the way up against the bulkhead, and this is the side here. That's actually the very front. This little flap here is going to tuck down, so it'll sit on top of your truck like this, and this would be the front. We're going to flip this over so we can install the adjusters. They are labeled left and right. Look for the R and L. We're going to use the 1 1/4 inch length bolts with a flat washer on it to thread it into the nut located inside the bulkhead there. And we're just going to leave it tight enough that we can still slide it around. So we don't want to go real tight because we are going to need to adjust it later. Once we've got the one on one side, we'll do the exact same process on the other side. We can now put our tonneau cover in place above our side rails. So we've got it here kind of how we pre-assembled it before. We're just going to flip this guy over, and this metal piece should line up in between our two rails. We're then going to flip it down, and this excess fabric we have here, we want to tuck that down in while we're doing this. And our straps, we also want to just push those down so they're hanging inside of our truck bed. The tensioners that we installed before can now be put into place. We left them loose, so we're just going to slide them down to the end. You may need to loosen the bolt a little bit more if you're having difficulty getting it to slide down. And then we're going to line up the hole in the pad on the tensioner there, on that paddle, with the hole in our side rail. We'll then take the shortest bolts that come in our kit, and we're going to drop it down through the hole in our side rail and down through the tensioner, and then we'll secure it on the bottom with a flat washer and a nut. We're going to do the same thing over on the other side now. Try not to turn the tensioner knob when you're doing this. We'll now need to center our rail, so we're going to take a measurement from the side of our side rail to where the crossbar on our cover here is, and we're just going to measure to see how far we're sticking out on each side, and then adjust it as necessary until it's completely even. We can then take a 13mm wrench and socket and go back and tighten down the bolts that go through our tensioner. Both the ones that go through the side rails as well as the ones that go through the center crossbeam. We'll do that on both sides. We can now unroll our cover and test the fit. Now it's pretty normal for it to be very snug the first time you want to put it on, and if it's too snug, then we'll need to loosen up the tensioners. But the cover is designed to stretch over time, and that's actually a pretty good fit. I would recommend, once you've got it nice, tight, and taut like this, go ahead and take the sides and push them down. And then if you were to park it outside in the sun on a nice warm day, that'll help the fabric properly conform and make it easier to open and close in the future. On the sides, you can just take the fabric and push it down into the hook and loop fasteners. Lastly, you'll want to just close your tailgate and verify that it closes properly. The cover should push up on top of the tailgate and fit nice and snug on top to ensure that it seals all the way across the back. You also just want to double check the seals we put here in the back to make sure they're being compressed and sealing properly. And that completes our installation of Access's original SLANTBACK roll-up tonneau cover on our 1989 CK Series Chevrolet pickup truck.